Jackson had always thought meeting the parents would be the hardest part of any relationship. He was wrong. Meeting an entire alien species who viewed him as a genetic goldmine was infinitely more complicated. The crystalline spires of Ruya's homeworld, Zephyria, gleamed like frozen lightning against the purple sky as their shuttle descended through the atmosphere. Jackson pressed his face to the viewport, still struggling to believe this was real. 6 months ago, he'd been a xenobiologist, studying bacterial cultures in a cramped lab on Mars Colony 7. Now he was engaged to the most brilliant astrophysicist in 3-star systems, who just happened to be a 7-foot-tall, blue-skinned beauty with silver hair that moved like liquid mercury. Nervous? Ruya asked, her melodic voice carrying harmonics that human ears couldn't fully process but somehow found deeply soothing. Jackson laughed, running a hand through his brown hair. Your people have been studying humans for 50 years without making contact. I'm the first human most of them will ever meet in person. And apparently I'm also their ticket to solving a species-wide fertility crisis. So yeah, just a little nervous. Ruya's large, opalescent eyes, each one holding depths like captured nebulae, fixed on him with an expression of concern mixed with affection. You don't have to do anything you're uncomfortable with, Jackson. I've told you this. I know. He reached for her hand, marveling as always at how her 6 fingers felt so natural intertwined with his 5. But if my DNA can help save your people, how could I say no? The shuttle touched down at the family compound, a sprawling complex of interconnected buildings that seemed to grow organically from the crystalline ground itself. Jackson took a deep breath of the recycled air. He'd be wearing an atmosphere suit for most of this visit, and followed Ruya down the ramp. The welcoming committee was overwhelming. Ruya's parents, Zara and Thane, towered even over their daughter, their skin a deeper blue that spoke of age and wisdom. Behind them stood what appeared to be half the extended family, all examining Jackson with intense curiosity. So small, whispered one of Ruya's cousins in their musical language, which Jackson's translator implant rendered with perfect clarity. But look at the genetic diversity markers, another replied. The chromosome stability is remarkable. Jackson felt his cheeks burn. Being discussed like a prize breeding stallion wasn't exactly how he'd imagined this introduction going. Zara stepped forward, her movements graceful despite her imposing size. Jackson Chen Martinez, she said, switching to accented but fluent English. Welcome to our home. Ruya has told us much about your unique qualities. Before Jackson could respond, a group of younger Zephyrians pushed forward. These were Ruya's sisters, Lyra, Vera, and Kira, all scientists in their own right, and all staring at Jackson with expressions that made him deeply uncomfortable. Is it true human males can reproduce multiple times per cycle? Lyra asked without preamble. Lyra. Ruya's voice cracked like a whip. What? It's for scientific purposes, Lyra protested. Our fertility rates have dropped 70% in the last century. If his genetic material could be synthesized— I'm standing right here, Jackson interrupted, forcing his voice to remain steady. And I'm a person, not a genetic resource. The compound fell silent. Jackson could feel dozens of eyes on him, weighing, measuring, calculating. This was the moment that would define not just his relationship with Ruya, but potentially the future of human Zephyrian relations. You're right, Thane said finally, his deep voice carrying authority. Forgive us. We have become so focused on our survival as a species that we forgot basic courtesy. Jackson nodded, then looked around at the gathered faces, hope mixed with desperation, scientific curiosity warring with ethical consideration. These weren't monsters or exploiters. They were people facing extinction, grasping at the first real solution they'd found in generations. Look, he said, addressing the entire assembly. I understand the situation. Ruya explained everything to me months ago. Your reproductive rates are declining because of genetic bottlenecking. Too much similarity in your gene pool after millennia of controlled breeding for intelligence and longevity. He took Ruya's hand, drawing strength from her presence. Humans went through something similar in our early space colonization efforts. Small founder populations, limited genetic diversity. We learned that survival isn't just about having the best genes, it's about having different genes. Vera stepped forward, her expression thoughtful. You're proposing more than just genetic sampling. I'm proposing partnership, Jackson said. Not just with me, but with humanity. We're not just donors or subjects for study. We're potential allies, Our species complement each other. You have the technology and knowledge we need to expand beyond our solar system, and we have the genetic diversity you need to survive. Kira's eyes widened. A formal alliance. Interbreeding programs. Cultural exchange. Exactly. But it has to be voluntary on both sides. No one gets treated like breeding stock, human or Zephyrian. The family exchanged glances, rapid conversations flickering between them in their native tongue, too fast for Jackson's implant to follow. Finally, Zara smiled, an expression that transformed her austere features. "You are not what we expected," she said. "What did you expect?" "A specimen," Thane admitted. "Instead, we find a diplomat." Ruya squeezed Jackson's hand, her joy radiating through their empathic bond, one of the unexpected benefits of their pairing. "This is why I love him," she announced to her family. "He doesn't just solve problems. He builds bridges." As the sun set over Zephyria's crystal forests, Jackson found himself surrounded by Ruya's extended family, no longer viewed as a curiosity or resource, but as the architect of a new future. The questions continued, but now they were about human culture, Earth's history, and the possibilities that lay ahead for both species. Later that evening, as Jackson and Ruya walked through the family's gardens, she looked at him with wonder. "You realize what you've started?" she asked. Jackson grinned. "The most complex diplomatic initiative in human history?" "The salvation of two species," Ruya corrected. "And the beginning of something beautiful." Above them, Earth's sun was just visible as a distant star, no longer home but the first stepping stone on humanity's greatest adventure.